Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Lost. My name is Kirioth and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Nintendo Creators Program. Don't worry, it's not going to be a massive long rant or an angry shouting session with lots of swearing, maybe a little bit of swearing. It's more just going to be, well, what the stupid Creators Program is and why it's bad, effectively. And I'm going to try and lay it out kind of nice and clear and easy and simple. And I'm not going to ramble, I'm not going to just carry on going, I'm just going to lay it out and that will be that. And hopefully it might provide a bit of insight as to why there's been so much backlash and to why YouTubers, content creators, pretty much universally have said that it sucks, us included, repeatedly. So essentially, at the moment, if you upload a Nintendo-based video with a Nintendo game in the background, Let's Play for instance, there's a good chance that it will get copyright claimed, it will be taken down, whatever. Nintendo don't want you doing that. But they have come up with an ingenious solution to a problem that doesn't actually exist, which is to create the Nintendo Creators Program, whereby if you want to make Nintendo-based videos, you can register your entire channel, or you can register individual videos with the Nintendo Creators Program, at which point they will take up to 3 business days to review and finalise your content, and then if it's a video on a channel that's been registered, you will get a 70% split of revenue from that video with Nintendo, so they take 30%. But if it's an individual video, you will get 60% and Nintendo will get 40%. Now, that's a pretty shit deal. If we assume that people are with a network, an MCN, multi-channel network, like Machinima, like Polaris, TGN for instance, essentially how it works is when you make the video and it's monetized, YouTube take 50%, your network will take whatever percentage it is. I don't really know what the standard percentage is, though I think it's about 30%, something like that. So they take 30% of what's left after YouTube's taken their 50%, and then Nintendo will take 30 to 40% of what's left of that, and you will get what's left over. That's a pretty shit deal, to be perfectly honest with you. If you want to just talk money and just go at it from an income point of view, the best way to put it, I think, is, well, the best way to put it is very simple. You have 2 choices. Project A, Project B. Project A is just as much fun as Project B. Project A will provide you with the amount of revenue that you are used to, and Project B will give you 40% less than what you are used to. Both of them are equal in terms of enjoyment and length. Which do you go for? It's not going to be Project B, is it? It's going to be Project A, because you don't have to take a 40% dip just for doing the same thing. I think hopefully you can relate to that no matter what your job is. If you're being asked to do exactly the same job but for 40% less, you would be a bit concerned and you'd want to know why, and you would not be happy about it. I mean, income personally is not really the reason I dislike this program. In fact, it's got very little to do with it. We don't do Nintendo coverage as such. We've got a couple of Nintendo videos on the channel, but in that respect it doesn't really bother me because we do mostly PC gaming and the occasional bit of console gaming as well. So that side of things, personally, I'm not that fussed by. But then again, there are people who are going to be horrendously affected by this. They're going to see their earnings drop by a significant amount. And we're not getting into the debate of whether YouTubers earn too much. I mean, personally, speaking for us, I can reassure you that we absolutely don't earn too much. Yeah, the income side of things is not the big consideration for me personally. Anyway, at the moment, the way it stands, when you come to register your channel, you need to have only Nintendo supported game videos on there. Well, game titles supported by Nintendo. Those are the only videos you can have up when you register your channel. It gets a bit confusing because while it says in the announcement that I will link in the description below that when you come to register the channel, you have to remove any videos that have game titles not supported by Nintendo. But the original announcement they made about the Nintendo Creators Program stated that videos that did not contain Nintendo supported game titles would also come under the Nintendo Creators Program, and so the revenue share would apply to those as well. But there was also a thing that says that you can't have anything that isn't part of the supported game list. Honestly, they have gone, I don't know what the hell they're doing. They've contradicted themselves at least twice. I'll link everything in the description below. The original announcement, how it works, the list of supported games, the terms and conditions, and the most recent announcement. Read them through. Honestly, if you've got a more clear idea of what the hell they're talking about, then by all means do share it with me. But frankly, it's confusing as hell at the moment, and it is not clear. Now, the biggest problem for me with this, and I think this is the biggest problem for most big YouTubers, is that, for a start, this is not how we're used to things working. Again, whether you agree with how things work or not is a different video, but as it stands, the way that publishers interact with content creators benefits both parties, frankly. I'll use an example. Dragon Age Inquisition, when that was coming out, I emailed EA, I asked for a key, I said I'll produce content on this game, and therefore can I have a key? They said certainly, here's your key, let us know when you produce content, and the only condition was that I don't upload the video before the NDA lifted, which is absolutely fine, that's what NDAs are for, and if you upload before the NDA goes out and put it live, then you're going to be in trouble, so don't do it. Which of course we don't. That's how it worked with EA. I asked for a key for the game, I made no promise of positive content, I made no promise of any kind of, you know, all I said was I want to make videos, and they said certainly, here's the game. Why did they do that? Well, they did that because our demographic is what they're aiming for. Mid-20s spread out over Europe and the USA, with a few outlying regions as well. They know how many views we get per video, and so they can safely say that with giving us a key and us making a video, they will get a certain number of eyes and a certain demographic on their product. It's worth it for them. For them, that is their share of the revenue, because it's publicity, it's advertising, and if the game is good and it gets a positive video, it's all positive interaction between the content creator, the game, and the people who follow that content creator, which in turn leads to sales and attention, which is what they want. So for the vast majority of publishers, that's enough. They know the power of content creators, they know that at the moment we're kind of at the forefront of an ever-growing wave of media where the videos that we make are consumed by thousands, if not millions of people a day, depending on your channel size. So, in a way, it kind of works both ways. You know, we get to play the games that we want to play and make videos on the games we want to make videos on, and in return, if the game is good, they get positive feedback, and they get sales, and they get advertising, and they get publicity. That is worth it for pretty much every publisher, aside from Nintendo. And it works. It undeniably works, because there are so many cases of developers, especially indie developers for instance, saying, you know, if it hadn't been for these people playing this game, it would never have grown to the size that it has. Everyone else seems to recognise that, and Nintendo doesn't. By contrast, Nintendo's PR method is completely different. If you email Nintendo and say, can I have a game, they will send you the game, you have to send it back within 2 weeks. They want to retain control. They want to hold on to it for as long as possible, essentially. And this is where the problem lies. Because, as it stands, the people who are making Nintendo content are Nintendo fans. They are the people who love the games. And as a result, they're getting punished by Nintendo. If they want to make prolonged content, prolonged series, many videos over the course of months, they will have to buy the game themselves. So, they buy the game. So they've already paid Nintendo, because they've bought the game. They make their videos, they put them on YouTube, they then have to sign up for the Nintendo Creators Program, which means that Nintendo then takes the revenue from those videos. If they approve them, which they might not do, and then the content creator gets a share of the revenue from those videos. So the content creator is effectively paying Nintendo for the right to advertise and publicise on their behalf. And that's where the problem is. That's where the problem lies. That is where the big issue is for me, because they've said they want to help content creators monetize Nintendo videos. Well, they could do that by doing what every other publisher in the world is doing right now, which is allow content creators to make videos on their games and allow them to monetize them and ride that wave of good publicity to altogether new heights of sales and, you know, positive feedback. But they're not. They're not doing that. They're punishing people. and they're punishing fans, not just any people, because the people who don't love Nintendo aren't making Nintendo videos. And do you know why they're not making Nintendo videos? Because they'll get copyright claimed, because they'll have to register them and share the revenue. And why would they? Why would they take a 40% hit to play a game when they could just play another game and not take the 40% hit? You wouldn't, would you? We've already said it, but you wouldn't. And so really, the only people who are suffering here are Nintendo's fans. The people who have stuck by them, who keep telling everyone how good their games are. And yet they're telling people how good their games are and trying to show off their games and show off how much they love their games. And Nintendo's response is to say, no. No. We want control of this. We want control of everything to do with our franchises. We don't want you playing that game unless we get a cut. They seem to be completely ignorant and blind to the fact that instead of trying to control everything that people do with your game, if you let them play it, if you let them show other people how fun the game is, if you let them show off the game and how much you like it, that is payment in and of itself, because it creates sales, it creates publicity, it creates advertising, it gets new eyes onto the product. It gets people who maybe never considered playing Nintendo games playing them. No, there've been multiple occasions where I have thought to myself, I don't know, what the hell is this game? I don't know what this game is. And I've seen someone play it on YouTube and I've thought, oh wow, that's actually quite good. Take speedrunners for example. I've got speedrunners in my Steam library. I bought speedrunners, sorry. I don't know why I said Steam runners, but speedrunners. I saw a clip of that. I saw someone, I think it was actually Achievement Hunter, did a speedrunners Let's Play, and I thought that looks really fun. So I bought it. That's a sale right there. And why did I buy that? Because I had no idea what it was, and then I saw someone playing it and it looked great. And so I bought it. That's a single isolated example that you could just say is, oh well, Kiri, that's just you, but it's not. It isn't. There's so many stories of developers and publishers saying, oh my god, this blew up, it got so much good attention, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, fucking hell. You can go and find developers praising Total Biscuit for doing what the WTF is of their game, and saying that if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have sold as many units, or he made the game a success. It works. It clearly works, it blatantly works, it obviously works, because every other publisher in the world, except for maybe Sega, who are off in their own mental little nightmare, have embraced it. They've embraced it and they're using it. You know, they're actually working with content creators to make and deliver that media that people consume every day. They're not fighting them for it. They're not demanding shares, they're not demanding that they give up control. They're letting them have the game and do what they want to do with the game, because it all feeds back into publicity and advertising and sales. But Nintendo don't want to do that. They don't give a fuck whether you like the game or not. They don't care if you want to make content on it. All they care about is control. There's a reason why channels get 70-30 and individual videos get 60-40. The 70-30 is essentially just an incentive. It's an incentive to have a Nintendo-only channel. And if you've got a Nintendo-only channel, that means everything on your channel can be directly controlled by Nintendo. They don't want individual videos, they want channels. And they want channels because they will remain in control. They don't care about their fans. They just don't. They don't care about the people who are spending their time, who have spent their money on their products, trying to show people how much they like the games. They don't care about those people. All they care about is keeping control. All they care about is keeping their products in their hands in a tight-fisted grip. They just want to keep, essentially, anything to do with them as close to their chest as possible. They don't trust anyone else with their content. And as a result, what do we get? We get the Nintendo Creators Program, where you pay Nintendo to play for the game. Then you pay Nintendo to play the game. And what do Nintendo do in return? Well, they take the advertising that you are providing for them. They take the publicity that you are providing for them. You take the sales that you drive for them, and they take their cut on top of everything else that they would get from that positive experience that you are giving in relation to their games. It's so backwards, and it's so paranoid, and it's so clingy, and overall it's so not fair to the people who like Nintendo, because these are the people who are suffering. I'm not suffering. Do you know what I'm going to do with the Nintendo Creators Program? I'm going to give you a hint. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. From this point on, the chances are you will never see a Nintendo video on this channel. Okay? You just won't. I'm not submitting myself to that. I'm not having a company, first of all, dictate whether or not that video can even be monetized. And then if they've decided it can be monetized because it's positive and they like it, take a 40% share of it for the privilege of me playing their game. I'm not going to stand for that, and neither should anybody else. Nintendo don't care about you. They don't give a shit. They care about their IP and nothing else. And they will do anything to keep hold of it, and that's all the Nintendo Creators Program is. A method of controlling what people do with their games. And that, to me, at a time when other publishers were embracing content creators and doing everything they can to make this amazing thing we have on YouTube, where you can go and get opinions on games and people are free to say what they think. Nintendo are trying to stifle that whilst everyone else is trying to promote it, and that's not acceptable. And we shouldn't fucking stand for it. I'll see you next time, guys. Toodaloo.